The Pangamo-Dumog system is an attack system of destructions, bridging, and finishing attacks. So let's look at the attack system or the tools. Number 1, slap. Number 2, backhand, hack. 3 is the elbow, and 4 is finger jab. And of course, with double weapons, same. You get caught, you get quartered, you're going to use your direct elbow strikes to destroy these type of kicks. The first one is the front kick. The front kick comes in, and then it comes in there, bang! Okay, you're going to pick up and you're going to drop that vertical elbow. If you do happen to pick that up, boom, you hit that here. Immediately, you're going to bridge past you in the close quarter. So again, from here, when Dennis is coming here, okay, you want to be waiting here, follow up here, and then there's your destruction in close quarter. So you can practice this now with the focus moves, okay? Dennis is going to put his guard up here. I'm going to do my double jab here, and there's my number 1 slap. Again, double jab here, there's my number 1 slap. Other one, boom, and I come back up with a number 1 slap there, okay? Maybe into the guard here. Hopefully I get the eyes. But I make it a reaction here, and the guard comes up here, okay, and I want to follow through my left 45 and get that power strike with the slap, or even from here, a little bit close quarter, with the elbow right from there. So you've got a combination of protection, protective attacks with slaps and parries, and then low line, back up to the high line with the number 1 slap and the elbow strike. The tactics are not to grapple, not to go down on the ground and go to a submission or even go to a lock that's going to take you out of the fight and expose you to multiple opponents. You have to move quickly. It's about engaging multiple opponents and about finishing an opponent quickly. So again, the counter-offensive is here. Boom, boom, right away, and we're down. See? And then you can follow up with locking and striking and destroying the head with your close quarter stomping or the sikad. Again, because you want to get back up and engage the multiple opponents. Here, boom, boom, right away, and we're down. The empty hand system of Pikiti Tertia. The empty hand system of the Filipino martial arts. Pangamot-Dumog. Pangamot means literally any skill with your empty hands or skilled with your hands. Dumog is the grappling system. It's also the locking and the throwing system within Pikiti Tertia and the Filipino martial arts. The empty hand system comes from the blade. In the absence of the blade, the hand becomes the hand blade. Simple. Based upon the single knife and the double knife. So all of the mechanics from the double knife here are all transferred directly to empty hands from the double knife. Both the double pakal, the thrust, and the jabbing, and also from the double saksa. All the thrust on the low line, the double jabbing, and your diagonal slashing as well. Primarily from doble daga. Initially though, your power striking comes from the long weapon, from the blade and from the impact weapon, your 1 and your 2. Simply put, if you can strike with power with the long weapon, with the impact weapon, with the sword and the impact weapon, then you have all the power for your slap, your hack, your elbow, and the speed of the finger jab. If you are striking with proper mechanics, speed, timing, power with the impact weapon. So first though, we're going to look at the parallel from the sticker from the impact weapon. Okay? Here, you're looking at the puño or the butt of the weapon on line with the elbow and the tip on line with the hand and obviously the fingers for the finger jab. The long range attacks are the jab and the slap. The mid-range are the hack, and then the close quarter obviously is the elbow. Same thing here, transitions on low line. The close quarter is the knee, and the mid-range to long range is the kicking. Although in our system, in the Fakiti system, all the kicks are low line, below the waist, and medium to close quarter. However, the tactics and techniques do not come from the long weapon. They do not come from the double impact weapon, double stick, or even double sword. They come from the doble daga. Why? Because when you talk about two long weapons, there is no contact, there's no tapping forearm to forearm. That comes into play with the single knife and the double knife. So the parallel is with the double knife, with doble daga, not necessarily with the long weapon. For that principal reason is because with the long weapon, and especially the sword, there's no tapping on forearms. Okay? But there is obviously in empty hands. That's where all of our trapping range. That's where the destructions of the guard come into play. Those tactics and techniques come from the knife, the single knife, and the double knife. The Pangmo system is an attack system of destructions, bridging, and finishing attacks. So let's look at the tools. Number 1, slap. Number 2, hack. The elbow and the finger jab. Of course, from the principle of single weapon or single knife and double knife. We're looking at also the tapping and the trapping of the double knife, because again, we're not talking about the long impact weapon, we're talking about the knife. Why? Because when we come to tapping here, okay, from the knife, single knife and double knife, this is all of our tapping, trapping, locking, throwing, breaking, destructions, and then the takedowns. So on the empty hand system, again, the same tactics and techniques from the knife transition. Long range into close quarter. What's our best and most effective bridging attack on the knife? The jab. So you've got a single jab with your lead hand and the double jab from the double knife. Again, single and the double finger jab from long range in the close quarter. Also, you've got the bridging, which is going to destroy the guard and or direct attacks to the head with the slap, with the power slap, number 1 and the number 2. Number 2 also coming into the hack. Again, going to destroy the guard, possibly destroy the guard, and then attack close quarter into the neck primarily or across the bridge. Extreme close quarter into the transition to the Fakiti system. Method number 11 on Dos Metodos, you've got the elbow strikes, close quarter elbow and close quarter knee strikes, and also the close quarter striking and or close quarter kicking. And then you've got the thrusting system, the 1, 2, and 3 on the saksak, and the 1 and 2 on the pakal, which leads directly into the throwing and the takedowns. So you're seeing. All right, let's begin with the counterfence system. 2 tactics. 1 based upon the thrust of the saksak, which is our parrying system. But again, we don't want to emphasize or overemphasize the parrying or the counteroffense. You need these skills if you end up behind in timing and or ambushed. However, because of the awareness built by training with a live weapon and a live blade, we're looking to be in control of our environment at all times, and we want to attack the threat, not base our entire empty hand system upon counter offense. Okay, you're behind timing, especially with empty hands. You don't have the advantage of weaponry. You're going to have a problem. And again, what we've got to remember is the empty hand system has to work against multiple opponents and varying opponents of size, strength, and natural power. I've got to be able to fight somebody like Steven, and Michelle has to be able to fight somebody like all of us. Okay, the system has to work. So therefore, when you see us training, we're not going to be, I'm not going to be just working with Dennis here, who's roughly the same height and weight, or someone smaller. Okay, we're going to work with varying opponents and show the difficulties and or the restrictions of some of the tactics and techniques. Obviously, trying to do neck locks off of Steven is kind of difficult unless I break his knees and bring him down, and then I can start to manipulate the neck. It's different because we're talking about multiple opponents. We're talking about 3 seconds to destroy and bridge and finish someone and move on to the next person. Critical when you're talking about real empty hand tactics and techniques. Multiple opponents. So again, getting back to the counter fence system, you got 2 tactics. The parrying system is based upon the sock thrust. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So when we're looking at that here, from the low line here, this is your number 1 parry. Okay? From the low line here, or from the high guard position, you're simply going to tap your shoulder. Tap your shoulder and tap your shoulder here. So I'm going to protect my bridge from here. If my hands are low, I can range, step, and wave in and wave out, protect my head as I'm doing my number 1 parry, which is from here or here. You simply here tap your shoulder so that you don't overextend. Okay, that's your number 1. The number 2 is your backhand thrust here. So off of the number 1 parry here, there's your number 2. Okay, you can go here, or better, you can go and strike forward as in the forward thrust, the backhand thrust. So you may number 1 parry and then number 2. Number 1 parry and then a number 2 with the hack. The number 3 thrust is simply another direct strike or a direct slap. So after 1, 2, there's your 3. Okay, very similar to a direct slap or a check to the center line. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. That's your parrying system or counter fence system based upon the sock thrust. Alright, the parrying system from the sock thrust. 5, 8, and 9, the 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so right now we're in contact distance here. So if Dennis throws a lead jab here, I can tap my shoulder right here as I step out on right 45. If the rear comes or the cross here, same thing. Step out with my left and tap my shoulder. This is if my hands are low here. So again, if the lead comes out here, tap that, and back again here with the cross, tap that there. If my hands are high from the guard, same thing happens. The jab comes, you simply slap that aggressively. So here, I'm not looking to necessarily parry to that. If the jab comes in here, I'm actually striking that as well and going to my shoulder so I don't overextend. If the cross comes, same thing here. See, I'm striking that. I'm not just looking to parry that and follow that around. When that jab comes in or the cross comes in, I'm looking to strike that and tap my shoulder so I don't overextend. That's a single parry from the low position and or up from the guard position. Now we can go to the double parry or the 1 and the 2 or the 5 and the 8. So if the jab comes up here, see, I'm still coming into the 2. Push back here. Now if the jab comes quickly here, back and comes back, and he brings it back here, boom, see, I can still maintain contact if I come back with the number 2 or the number 2 thrust. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm initially going to parry here, and I'm looking to step and maintain that contact so I can come in with my direct attack. Same thing on the rear, on the cross here. See, I'm looking for that number 2 to maintain contact. So we're not going to look at the trading method, okay? We're not going to stay here and just extend the card and just play with this like, you know, something unrealistic. If that cross fires off, Dennis is going to follow through here. See, boom, he's going to follow through. Okay, I may or may not get that attachment, or he may pop that back to the chamber here. See, back to the guard position, and then I can come into my number 3. So that's realistic. Okay, we don't want to be doing this, just throwing the rear out there and kind of playing like this and doing all of this manipulation when you know that that is not realistic. No one is going to leave their arms extended like that, so you can follow through with all these different instructions and manipulations that are commonly taught. We want to train realistically. We want to train dynamically. So again, the double parry. Okay, off of the jab here, see, boom, I'm coming in for my number 2, and off of the cross here, off of the number 2 here, so I can come into my direct attack. I'm already escalating to the number 3 parry there. So when the rear comes again here, single, double, and there's my number 3. See, my number 3 directly here. If he covers back up to the guard, that's a destruction. That's the parry, that's the check. And then coming into all of your close quarter tools there, okay? 1, 2, and 3, 5, 8, and 9. the pairing system of counteroffense. The second method of counteroffense is based upon the Pakal knife, the slash and the thrust. This is the knuckle and the elbow destructions and also the destructions of kicks. So from here you're using basically your horizontal slash and your backhand jabs. Horizontal slash and upward diagonal slash based upon the reverse grip knife or the Pakal knife. So you're going to go into what we call the knuckle and the elbow destructions, working your way up the arm from the knuckles all the way to the shoulders. And then against the kicks, against the front kick, the side kick, and the round kick. And again, based upon the horizontal slash and not the vertical slash. Difference in Bikini Tertia, when we do the knuckle destructions here, we're going to be getting offline and executing the horizontal slash. So two methods of counteroffense. The first, the pairing system based upon the sock-sock thrust. And second, the destruction system, okay, which is still counteroffense, more aggressive though, is based upon the horizontal slashing and the backhand jabbing or the number 2 thrust from Pakal. Okay, the destruction system based upon the Pakal knife. Talking about the horizontal slash and the jab or number 2 thrust. Again, this is against boxing attacks as well, or fist attacks. So Steven's going to come up against the rear hand, okay. One distinction of the Bikini Tertia system is that we don't do the vertical slash destructions to the knuckle. Why? Because if we do this here, the rear hand comes. If we do this one here, we're in line. We haven't moved our feet. We haven't displaced ourselves, and we're in line for the other hand or for the cross. Okay. So in Bikini Tertia, when that rear hand comes, we slash out horizontally. Okay. Right from here, that horizontal slash picks up the elbow. Picks up the knuckles across the knuckles with the elbow. That's the application of the horizontal slash. Picks us up here as we get off on the 90 degrees, and then the follow-up thrust or the follow-up jab. Okay, that's the tactic directly from the knife. So now when we're looking at the empty hands here, I can use my number 1 parry if the cross comes from here, see, into the elbow strike. So now a little bit faster here, boom, and I can recover as I come back into the forward triangle. So I may miss that little rear hand altogether, boom, I may miss it, or I may just tag it a little bit. Okay, from here, boom, I can come in with my forward triangle. Initially, that's coming from my nose. I want to get out on my 90 degrees and just place myself with the elbow strike from here. Again, here's horizontal, and coming into the forward triangle with my number 2, follow up with the direct strike. Off of the jab, because I'm here, again, just in contact distance here. If the jab comes across here, I've got to be able to shift 90 right as well. When it comes in the nose, boom. See, I picked that up with that horizontal slash here. Again, boom, I'm going to be getting out and then coming in on your forward triangle as they cover up. Your initial slash and thrust destructions of the knuckle. Okay, let's look at the training method for the destructions, okay, from the elbow destructions. We're going to destroy the knuckle, the wrist, the elbow, and then the shoulder. And then work on the nerve on top of the forearm and the bicep nerve on the inside. Elbow destructions and the number 2 hack and the number 2 jab or the center line jab. So first you're talking about counter-offense, you're behind timing, you see the punch coming here, if the jab comes out here, boom, you're just going to step out, jab comes here, boom. Okay, you can angle out here again, boom, step out and pop your horizontal elbow so that you're moving your head offline. Again, we're going to use the gloves because we want something realistic. We're just not going to throw this out there with just empty hands and again some type of unrealistic attack method so that you accomplish nothing. We want to make a little bit of contact with the gloves, but again you got to be careful because that's a knuckle destruction. It'll go right through some of those gloves. So again, off of the jab there, up here, and then off of the cross here. When it comes back quickly, again you're looking to catch that, tap that left hand number 1 parry to your elbow. If the cross comes again here, boom, and I'm looking for my number 2. If it comes back, and I might be able to catch the guard again. So here, I might be able to catch the guard. If I get the knuckle destruction here, boom, we don't know where exactly the hand's going to end up. It may stay extended, it may come back to the guard. But I'm going to be trying to pick up the wrist here and go for the wrist destruction. Two things can happen on the follow-up of the number 2 hack. So if the cross comes again here, boom. One more time again here, boom. I may pick up that hack and go for the wrist destruction right from here. Or, again, jab that here, boom, I go directly to the rear hand. The third is, if I get the knuckle destruction off the rear hand here and he throws the left, boom, I'm going to strike and hack right into the rear hand, okay, off of the glove. Again, one more time here, boom, and there. See how I'm stepping in here and striking into that. And again, right from the hack here, close quarter follow-up with the elbow. One more time with the rear hand, boom, I'm going to get that. See, the catch, as it starts to recover, I get the wrist destruction from here. There's my number 2. I can follow up to the hack, right into the eyes, catch the elbow, and there's the destruction on the forearm, the nerve on top of the forearm. Here is now your system of elbow strikes and number 2 hacks. Here, destruction of the elbow from the outside. Follow up with the number 2 hack, hacking to the bridge and or hacking across to the rear hand. Again, catching the elbow and striking the bicep here. This can be a close quarter attack, boom, as you're working your way up the elbow, or you can go to a running attack and get to the flank of your opponent immediately. So it's knuckle destruction, wrist destruction, to the top of the forearm, to the back of the elbow, destroying the elbow, to the bicep nerve, and then to the back of the shoulder, and then front of the shoulder. Also, right from here, you can throw and get the elbow destruction here, and you can follow up right into the bridge of the eyes with the elbow close quarter. Any of these can be running attacks. You can get the forehand elbow strike here, okay, boom, and you go immediately into the running attack right away. So again, you don't want to do this slow right here and come here and there and then just like that without any intensity, without any real attacks coming to the bridge. I've got to be able to get off and then step in and continue my attacks. So immediately look at the system here. Slow. I get my knuckle destruction with my elbow. Immediately I can go for the catch of the wrist so I can come up with my follow-up elbow, or I go directly into the bridge of the eyes on the forward triangle. Immediately, the way you protect yourself is not through these multiple parries. The way you protect yourself is entering in close quarter and destroying the bridge immediately and taking the position of your opponent. So if I get the horizontal here, I'm coming in all the way in the close quarter and smothering that rear hand attack. Okay, so let's show the progression one more time. Get the horizontal elbow destruction into the catch and break that wrist here. Get the strike on top of the forearm, break the elbow from behind. Again, getting this catch here. From here, you can go into all your throws later on that you're going to learn from the empty hand knife or the mano a dada system. I get the elbow control here. I get the bicep nerve with my elbow strike outside of the shoulder, the scapula, front of the shoulder, and the bridge of the nose as well with the close quarter elbows. So that is a system, the destruction system, the elbow destruction system, hitting the knuckles, utilizing the elbows, hitting the knuckles, breaking the wrist, top of the forearm nerve, breaking the elbow, bicep nerve, back of the shoulder, and front of the shoulder destructions. Last, go right for the bridge with your forehand elbow. Destruction of kicks, okay? Again, counter offense, we're not going to place a lot of emphasis on this, but if you get caught, you've got a destruction method based upon primarily the elbows. Remember though, we've mastered the footwork system. You're going to be able to counter attacks with the hands and with the feet by your footwork system, okay? By not being there, by evading these type of attacks primarily. Okay, you get caught, you get quartered, you're going to use your direct elbow strikes to destroy these type of kicks. So first one is the front kick. The front kick comes in, and Dennis comes in here, bang! Okay, you're going to pick up and you're going to drop that vertical elbow. If you do happen to pick that up, boom, you hit that here. Immediately, you're going to bridge past them into close quarter with your elbows primarily. Could come in with a slap. But immediately, you get the destruction of the elbow here, bang, Immediately there's your takeoff, and you're through your opponent right with a close quarter elbow across the bridge of the eyes. Okay, same thing with the side kick. You're here, what a big bang. You're going to pick this up here. See how I catch this? Two methods. When the side kick comes in, I can pick up my here, or I can thrust this with my forearm and drop my elbow here. Okay, immediately, same thing here. If I pick this up here, I can tap this, I can clear it, or I can clear it from the other side and go for strike to the nape of the neck. Okay. If I come to the inside position here, get that side kick again here, boom, again, right into the bridge of the eyes. That's the way you want to follow up with these type of kicking destructions. The long range, there's two destructions for the round kick, okay, the high round kick. If it comes to the head here, you're just going to range on the left reverse 45 and take that out with the elbow. Okay, if you're looking at the round kick now in close quarters, and when the round kick comes here, you're going to step in here, catch that, and destroy that with the knee here, and then follow in with your close quarter elbow, okay? Again, from here, you catch this here, okay, here, boom, and the close quarter destruction with your elbow pat, and then elbow strike across the bridge. Again, we don't place too much emphasis on this, but if you're in close quarter and you can't maneuver, you've got to have a system to destroy these kicks. Okay, let's look at practicality. Let's talk about what's going to be the most common kick that you're going to encounter. It's going to be the round kick, okay? So what is going to be our counter defense? What is going to be our primary method of protecting ourselves? It's going to be the footwork and then coming back in with the counter kick or direct attack as well. And then follow up with a close quarter destruction and follow-up attack. So again, from here, when Dennis is coming here, okay, you want to be right here, follow up here, and then there's your destruction in close quarter across the bridge of the eyes. Okay. Okay, so there's one more counter-offense technique, and that is off of the seguidas from the single baston or solo calice. Number 7 from the first set. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, again, here, lower umbrella, high, low, back up to the back of the blade, strike, jab, jab to the eyes, long range jab. Empty hands translation is here. You've got the gunting or the number 1 double slap, double parry. Again, as you're getting offline here, or you're getting offline here. So from here, then you go to 2 double parries on the low line, the number 1 slap, and then the follow-up elbow. So you've got a combination of protection, protective attacks and slaps and parries, and then low line, back up to the high line with the number 1 slap and the elbow strike. So again, from here, this is the gunting. Because when Dennis strikes here, okay, boom, see, I may pick this up. Again, one more time here, I go a little bit closer, I may pick up either the far ear and or maybe the guard here. But again, I'm in counter offense, I'm behind timing, and immediately I just throw both of my arms up and tap my shoulders as in the single parry and single slap. So right from here, boom. Now, if he's really fast, I may not pick up anything. Okay, so if it's really fast here, boom, but I've got to come back in. So now I get more aggressive here, boom, see, I come back in and go for my tap. In reality, I'm going to be through Dennis because I'm not going to play this technique here and then just stay here. In reality, I'm going to go through them and continue with my running attack. So one more time, if it's really quick, I may not pick up anything, but immediately you see I'm coming back into my hack again. Okay, let's finish out the execution of the gunting from the seguidas. So again, when Dennis comes up here, you know, quickly here, you may pick up something. Okay, you may pick up something on the inside, throw the left hand here, same thing. I range out to the right and pick up the hand, the lead hand off of the jab. So back to the rear hand from here, whatever I do, I pick this up here, you know, it may end up in a trap and I immediately go to the elbow, strikes, to the scapula or to the shoulders from here, and then escalate back up into the high line with multiple attacks. If I get the trap here, I've also got the knee strike, follow through on the reverse triangle footwork and into the thrusting knee strikes here. Trapping into close quarter elbow destruction, and then Because I'm in close quarter and I've got control of the elbow, I can execute the number 3 thrust to the neck, which is going to be a direct takedown strike. Right from here, the number 3 thrust to the nape of the neck and or the side of the neck. This would be the sock thrust, and I'm going to be attacking with the forearm. I get the trap from the double gunting here, and then my side step close quarter, that would be a direct strike to the nape of the neck, which would be a throw and a takedown. So you've got the gunting again from the seguidas. It also gives you a quick follow-up type of flow of empty hands attacks and taps. I got double slap, I got double hack on the low line, another slap, and another elbow. From here, you can continue close quarter elbow striking from here and your slaps. From your slaps, it's just like clapping. You've got your hands cupped, and that's striking to the ear, striking to the arms, and your follow-ups. Your elbows, your direct strikes, close quarter elbows, keeping your wrists flexible, close quarter, and then you can also use your knee strikes in this type of free flow form for executing multiple attacks with your empty hand tools and strikes. Initial attacks based upon the long weapon. Again, we're looking for power development. Your initial striking 1 and 2 with the long weapon includes the left hand tap. Okay, so from here, this becomes a close quarter jab to the eyes. From the left hand plexus here, right across the horizontal slap, right across the eyes, and then following up with a number 1 slap and a number 2 hack with the stick or the long weapon. So from here, this is the center line jab, turning your palm horizontal, and then 1 and 2. So palm and 1 and 2. Palm strike 1 and 2. Palm strike 1 and 2, which is going to turn into the slap and the hack. So again, from close quarter here, Dennis puts his glove up here. This is right to the eyes. Horizontal, right across the eyes. I can even step in with that here. So here, again, there's my number 1 slap. I follow up with the number 2 when the left hand comes up again. Here, 1, and then there's your 2. Hack comes right across the side of the head, probably to the temples if you're stepping through on the left 45. So immediately, there's the pop of the eyes, left hand, left 45 step for the power slap. I would be close quarter already to the temple. There's my number 2 hack. Once I step through on the left 45 here, boom, I follow through. There's my number 2 hack. Put the glove up there. There's the follow through with the number 2 hack. Okay, let's have Michelle do that. The center line jab, left 45, single strike just like that. Jab and slap a couple of times, and then we'll add the number 2 hack. So let's look at it 3 times with the jab and the slap. Left 45, good. Jab the eyes and slap, good. Follow through. And power slap with the left 45. Now we'll add the 2 hack. Slap it and hack it, follow through, good. Again, boom, and bang, number 2 hack. And number 2 hack. Again, right, so a tactic like this is kind of like self-defense, okay? You're here, and you just have to pop the eyes immediately. Your hands may be down here. Step in and pop the eyes, step in and pop the eyes. Number 1 slap, number 2 hack. Okay, now the same thing with the sidestepping. Throw the jab, and then sidestep number 1. Power sidestep with the number 1 slap. Boom! Follow through with the slap. Jab the eyes, bang! Follow through with the slap. Now pick up the hack and number 2 hack immediately. Boom, and number 2 hack. Good. One more time. Boom, and number 2 hack. Okay. In reality, once that sidestep comes through, once Michelle sidesteps here with the number 1, with that number 1 here, see you have to follow through with the 180-degree sidestep. You're going to pick up the number 1 and 2 abecedarial targets with the number 2 hack. All right, your principal striking drills, or your foundation striking drills. Off of the single knife or the single long weapon, you've got your center line jab here and your number 1. Center line number 1 and number 2, using your left 45 and the right 90-degree side step. So it would be from your center position here, jab number 1 and number 2, or jab number 1 and number 2, utilizing the side step. To the double knife, again, you've got your 1, 2, and 1, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 2, and 1. If you do this continually, 1, 2, and 1, back to the 2 and 1, 2 and 1, and 2 and 1. Same thing, cross the center line, the 2 with the thrust, which is going to be your hack. You've got your forearm across the bridge of your eyes, providing protection as you execute the close quarter attack. 2 followed by the 1, followed back up with the number 2 again. So again, the 3-beat strike, number 1 slap, number 2 hack, number 1 final power slap. Okay, Dennis and Steve are going to demonstrate this. Power strike through, step left to right, and following through. All right, you get the power slap of the number 1, the initial strike, 1, 2, and 1. Go ahead and now pop the center line jab in there first as well. Good. Okay, your 2 foundation attacks on the empty hands. 1 comes from the single knife and or the solo baston. So you've got your center line jab, okay, which comes horizontal across the eyes here, and a 1 and a 2. Center line jab 1 and a 2 with your left 45, and or the center line jab 1 and 2 with the 90-degree side step. Tactically, you know, you're here, you're going to pop the eyes and you can sidestep if you're in close quarter, or you pop the eyes and go left 45 for the power slap. Follow up with the number 2 hack. Multiple attacks, now you're going to get into the principle of the double knife. So you're here, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 2, and 1, following through with the power slap. Continuous, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. The 1 and the 2 with the right hand, followed by 1 and 2 with the left hand. Slap and hack, slap and hack. Okay, and of course this is off of the principle of the double knife. When you're coming out across with your number 2 hack, the middle of your forearm is on line with the bridge of your eyes, because you're coming in with a protective strike. Okay, you're not just coming in trying to strike, you know, the hands or whatever. You're coming in with the protective hack, followed by the number 1 power slap. So 1, 2, and 1, and then you're continuous here, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. You're protected by the diagonal attacks. You're protected by the diagonal hack, followed by the power slap of the number 1. Okay, Dennis and Steve are going to demonstrate the striking drills with the focus mitts. And then Stephen can just do this from the natural position. So just drop your hands and immediately go into left number 1, or follow up. All right, good. All right, so you can see the power from that immediately with the footwork, stepping in, 1, 2, and 1. Of course, across the ear, across the bridge of the eyes, and across the opposite ear when you're following through on the target of your opponent. Now we're into the tactics. We're into the tactics of empty hands, pangmod, and dumod. First is, how do we bridge? Okay, we've already gone through the destructions. That's on counter-offense. Now we're on offense with bridging. Exactly based upon knife tactics. What's our first range? Jabbing range. Okay, so we're going directly for the eyes with the same principle as the knife jab or the knife jab. Okay, so from here, from the pakal here, we're going to use the reverse grip jab right to the bridge of the eyes. So right from here, we're going to be utilizing the hand blade here portion and the end of the fingertips on the hand blade extension. We're not going to be jabbing or thrusting with the fingertips. It's just the jabbing, same jabbing mechanics. We're also tapping our armpit because, again, of the coordinated body mechanics here. Okay? You don't want to keep your left hand static here because it's going to interfere with your dynamic movement. So again, we're talking about preemptive striking. We're talking about preemptive attack. We recognize, or we've got the indication that, you know, something's going to happen and then we're going to have to protect ourselves. So immediately, boom, you're going to go right to the eyes with your single knife jab, okay, and or the double here. If the guard comes up like that, the reactionary here, and then you can go immediately into your multiple attacks from there. Okay, you must rely on the speed of the knife jab. You take the eyes, you disable that person for a moment, and then you can come up with the multiple attacks. The most important thing you want to see here is on the jabbing, on the knife jabbing, and then on the finger jab, the empty hand system, is that we don't stand here and just jab from here and stay in this range. If you do that, you're going to be hit by a follow-up attack. You may or may not disable the person from there, but immediately they're going to go into some type of reactionary striking, and if you stand here, you're going to be hit. So our jabbing is an offensive jab, and we're going to utilize footwork to go into the opponent. Okay, so from here, now I'm looking from the side here. Okay, when I jab here, I should be standing where Steven is at. Okay, I'm going to be coming through them. I'm not going to stand here and just retract my hand and then get hit by some type of protective strike. Right from here, the jab comes up, I'm going to go into the guard and actually want to attack with my forearm hack if I utilize the double jab, okay, which is straight from the double knife. So right from here, I get the initial jab, and then right from here. See, as I step in, I'm going to be hacking with that here. I get my guard, the trap of the guard, and immediately into the power number one. You can see now those initial striking drills, the left and right 45s, going to connect right with this jabbing. So right from here, you know, double jab here, and then I start to come in and I start to bridge. I get my initial single and double jab. Right from here, see my hack on my number two, I get the guard, and then I am behind. So you can practice this now with the focus mitts, okay? They're just going to put his guard up here. I'm going to do my double jab here, and there's my number one slap. Again, double jab here, and there's my number one slap. Other one, boom, and I come back up with a number one slap there, okay? Again, right from here, I can do my single jab, you know, jab to the guard, and you do my double, and then there's my number one slap. Of course, my number two hack can follow. That's how you effectively drill the long-range jab into power slaps and the power hack in close quarter. Just remember though, okay, from here, what is the actual training technique? I'm jabbing into the guard, okay, into the guard here. Hopefully I get the eyes, but I may get a reaction here and the guard comes up here, okay, and I want to follow through with my left 45 and get that power strike with the slap, or even from here a little bit close quarter with the elbow right from there, okay? My momentum here, pop, pop here, and I get the strike of the elbow and or the power slap on number one. If you get an initial attack, a successful attack with the jab, boom, you're taking the eyes, boom, you're taking the eyes, and you follow up with direct attacks. If you get the guard, if your opponent reacts and the guard comes up, then you're into tapping and trapping range. This is all going to be developed. Your skills, your sensitivity, your tapping, your trapping, and counter-trapping is going to be developed through Second level. You learn this with the solo baston system, and you also learn this in the knife tapping system. So again, if I just throw my jab here, and I come back in, throw on my number three thrust here, okay, I've already got the connection, I've already got the elbow control here. I trap, counter trap, and execute my elbow strike from here. The follow-through throw is so simple. You utilize the principle of the forward triangle. Any foot is possible to be used. I can just simply step through right here and throw my forearm attack or bicep attack here as I step through and send my opponent flying backwards. I'll release them and follow up with the proper footwork attacks. So again, anything close quarter, when you pick up that initial jab here, okay, I strike that in here. Right from here, I got control of the guard from here. And then I simply step through and send them onto the ground, utilizing the principle of the forward triangle. So from here, when you get the connection of the guard here, or you get the connection of the guard on the inside here, okay, all this comes from, and all the skill is developed with the Sagung Labo drill. So back to the number one slap here, number one slap here, see? And you're utilizing this in an aggressive manner, the way it should be played. Not just standing here and just doing this type of tappy stuff. Here, if I'm coming in with my number one slap, I'm executing the left 45. Dennis is stepping in left 45 and jamming that number one attack up, comes back across here, and I'm coming on the inside here. Boom. Okay, we're both utilizing the footwork here. Boom, boom, boom. Now from here I can switch. I come back with my hack, Dennis hacks that here, and now it's switched to the opposite side. We'll show that one more time here. The left number one here. From here I come into backhand here, and there's my switch to the left side. Now the jab, the finger jab, is undeniably the best long-range bridging attack because it's the fastest. Here, you're going to the eyes, and you're going to the eyes, or the double jab. If you draw the guard from here, boom, boom, now you're into Sagung Labo. You're into the tapping and trapping of Sagung Labo. All of these skills that you're going to need here at contact or at tapping range are developed from the Sagung Labo high line, the 1 and the 2, and later your low line tapping off of your sock thrust. So again, from here, if I go to my jab here, I can come in and I shoot my number 3 thrust. That's countered by the tap by Dennis here, but I simply counter trap and strike close quarter with my elbow. Right from here, it's very simple. I use the principle of the 45-degree forward triangle, and I simply step and then execute my throw with my bicep and my forearm strike. Simply step through with either left or right foot, straight through on that forward 45-degree angle. Again, once you get the guard here, okay, you can be on the outside, you can be on the inside position here as you're going for that double jab. From here, bang, bang, you can be on the outside on my opponent's left side. Anywhere from here, boom, throwing that guard up here, now you're getting into the Sagung Labo. Look at the elbow control. We never want to just go down like that, because from here, he can slap your hip and or wrap and strike from the inside, wrapping your, hitting the abs, hitting the kidney on the other side as well. So you want this close quarter elbow control. This is a signature technique of the Paquita Tertia system. Why? Because all of our tactics are based upon the knife and not just empty hands. When we're close, we want to be controlling this elbow. We want to be controlling the other hand, okay, from here. So now we get into the Sagung Labo drill with empty hands. We're talking number one slap. And look at the dynamic way we're doing this here. See, I'm on the inside. Once I get this here, there's my vertical elbow. There's my diagonal elbow, upward diagonal elbow from here. I'm here and I'm controlling this. Or I'm controlling from the outside position. I can go to the elbow control where I can get the control and the leverage right into the forward elbow. Or I can start to work the destruction of the arms from the knuckle and the elbow destruction, the counter fence systems that we did earlier. Right from here, I can sidestep and destroy that elbow. Right from here, and go into your running attacks. So again, we start slow, but we start aggressively as I strike forward into the inside position. And then look, you see my hacks here, and then there's my follow-up elbow strikes. Everything comes into play here in the Sagung Labo. We can add the low line kicking from here. See, right from here. As you sidestep out with this elbow control, you have the Sipa kick, the inside kick to the knee, and then the Sikad, which is the stomp. Then the follow-up destruction to the elbow. So from here, coming back around, every time you sidestep, there it is. You've got the knee destruction and the follow-up elbow destruction. Now, right from here, power slap and or come around with the number 3 thrust with the takedown. Boom. Right away into the number 3. That is a direct power Dumog takedown. A Dumog strike. Dumog is about striking. It is not about necessarily grappling, and it's certainly not about counter-grappling, because we always have the knife. It's very rare that we're going to end up in an empty hand situation, but in the absence of the hand becomes the hand blade. Right from this close quarter position here, you're going to shoot that number 3 thrust, and that is a direct takedown on the back of my head to the deck, followed up by the proper close quarter footwork techniques. So again, back to the Sagung Labo position here, boom, boom, boom. Here, from this outside position here, I can tap this if I want to, my number 3 direct parry here, and into the backhand position here. Then I get to switch, and I switch to the other arm, and then follow through into my either running attack and or close quarter destructions. So again, everything from here, you've got the Sagung Labo tapping and trapping skills. Right from here, the tapping. Right from here, you've got your hacking and your locking and your slapping follow-up attacks based upon your circular slashing with the sock knife. Again, back into the Sagung Labo here, transitioning around here, boom, immediately throwing the 3, immediately throwing the elbow, immediately throwing the 3, and then the follow-up takedown. Any position from here, again, any position, even from the rear, follow through, step on that forward 45-degree triangle, and do your immediate throw. Since the takedown, you can follow up with the follow-up lower leg attacks, the round kick, and take your opponent down to the ground. Later, we're going to get into the follow-up neck control, destructions, and direct throws from leveraging the neck. Alright, now let's take a look at Sagung Labo with a taller opponent. Taller and stronger, natural power advantage. Okay, I'm not going to have the same capability to do the direct number 3 thrust and take the head down and attack the neck, obviously because my opponent is taller. So I go back to the power number 1 slap. I've made my bridge here, and we're into, again, the Sagung Labo drill here. Moving realistically, striking and stepping with footwork here. Boom, 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 here, there, and number 1 power slap. Okay. Also, now look what I've got available to me. Because Steven's taller, I've got the number 1 slap to the kidney also. Okay. Same thing. We're into Sagung Labo here, 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 boom, and then right there to the kidney, followed up with the knee strike. Right from here again, here, boom. Once I get this here, look, I'm simply going to step across on the 45-degree line. So here I can take the throw, look at the outbalancing of the feet, and or I can cut across with my other foot here and take me down, take my opponent down with the right 45, the forward triangle. It is not a complicated movement or a sophisticated movement. You simply cut through the center line of your opponent on a 45-degree angle with your right foot and or left foot. They will go down if you step through and strike through your opponent's position. Close quarter elbow striking off of the Sagung Labo drill. So we're going to start here in slaps, okay, slaps and hacks, okay. This is also hacking on the inside. This is hacking on the inside here, okay. Multiple hacking here, back around. We're on the inside here. Now I throw my close quarter elbow, and Dennis executes the cutting counter strike here, okay, and cuts into my elbow strike. Follows up with the upward tap, right into the control position with the elbow, and then immediately I step through and again use the cutting strike here and there. Okay, boom, here, boom, see, boom. Cutting into the elbow here and then striking that here or tapping it down. You got 2 options. Do you want to clear here and follow up with your elbow strike, or do you want to cut in here, tap this down, and follow up with your forearm elbow strike as well? 2 options once you cut in. Also, if I'm here in close quarter position, the elbow comes also, I can also cut in with my opposite hand, okay, to the outside. Do that one more time here, boom. I can also cut on that, stepping out on your 90-degree range so you keep your head out of the way. Again, I get attacked with the elbow, I execute my cutting strike. I get attacked with the elbow, I execute my cutting strike in close quarter. Stepping in on my left 45 and attacking that elbow and then following up here. You can see here, look at all the close quarter attachments. I've got the control of the tricep, and Dennis has got the check with the number 1 hack on the forearm. So right from here, go right into the drill here. Back again, here, boom, boom, boom. Or we can transition back out to the side. And here, back up to all of your follow-ups and or running attacks. So let's look at the tactics. You've got jabbing into running attacks. If I get to come here, I can go one here and then directly back again. So look at my left and right 45. I get my jab here. There's my number 1 power slap. And now I'm going to execute a 180-degree sidestep, and there's my number 1 again as well. Or I can just do my running attack. I get this here and then I'm gone. If I want to go to the right 45, I get my bridge here, boom, and I trap this down here as I go right 45. If I trap this down here, see how the head comes down slightly? Now I get my right 45, my number 1 power slap. I can also come back again as I do my 180-degree sidestep. And then the last is what we've been covering. Once you get your bridge, you're into trapping range, okay? Which is going to go to the direct thrust. From here, you've got the number 3 thrust, you've got number 3 thrust to the rear, you've got the slap to the kidney, and you've also got the number 5 thrust to the groin with your forearm. The number 3 thrust and the number 5 thrust with your forearm attacking target and your forearm attacking tool. Last is the medium range, when you're going to directly attack the guard, if the guard is already up. Okay? If there's some indication your opponent's guard comes up, you're going to have to attack it. So when Steven's guard comes up immediately, you can't go head hunting and try and strike into the head. Or again, you're giving your own torso and you're giving the range of your own head for counter strikes. In Pikita and the majority of the Filipino martial arts, you're going to destroy the guard. Destroy the guard with the principle of the thrust. So right from here, you got double number 1 thrust, or you got 1 and 2. You got your bridge to the lead guard, the lead hand, and then follow up with your number 1 and number 2. Switching to the principle of the saksak, you have the jab here and your number 3 thrust, direct thrust in close quarter against the neck and possibly catching the guard. And then again, you've got your multiple attacks from here, 1, 2, and following up with your thrust to the outside. All right, go ahead and demonstrate, Dennis. Side control of the knee and taking the rear and destruction of the spine with the knee and double takedown across the neck. One more. Boom. Side control knee, control of the neck, destruction of the spine, and the drop with the double-handed takedown. Guard comes up, boom. Number 1 and number 3 thrust to the left and to the right. Follow up with the direct takedown. So Dennis throws the jab initially across the guard to jam that up, boom, and then look at the left 45, look at the positioning, and look at the running attack. Against the guard now, and follows up right to the nape of the neck and or the side of the neck with your number 3 thrust. Power thrust and power thrust. Inside close quarter, utilizing the inside forearm attacks. Roll. Number 1 there, and to the outside. So you get a direct bridge with the number 1 slap. Try that again. Okay. Boom, boom. Throw the jab in there initially, number 1 slap, number 2 hack to the guard, and then your control across the neck and take down with the leverage on the back of the hip and the spine into the neck control. Direct jab and thrust. That last one right there, application of the jab and then the number 1 thrust and then the neck control. So you've got multiple principles and multiple tactics and techniques when you're looking at the double daga bridging attacks into close quarter and specifically destroying the guard. Once you get into tapping and close quarter trapping range, you've got two options. You can go to direct attacks, multiple attacks in close quarter, represented by the tactics of sunkete or echikete. And you've got the control of the neck and the direct throws and the takedowns. And we're going to show you two. Remember, what are the tactics? The tactics are not to grapple, not to go down onto the ground and go to a submission or even go to a lock that's going to take you out of the fight and expose you to multiple opponents. You have to move quickly. It's about engaging multiple opponents and about finishing an opponent quickly. So you have to move, and your tactics and techniques have to be quick. Where do they come from? They come from the direct attacks of the knife. Once you get into tapping and trapping range, you've got the sunkete, which is what we're talking about, direct thrust here. Direct thrust based upon the saksa from here. So if I get this tap here, okay, there's my direct thrust, there's my direct thrust, there's my direct thrust, here, there's my direct thrust here. My thrusting attacks with the saksa knife, the thrusting attacks here. Look at the targets across the bridge of the eyes, across the side of the neck, the carotid, across the front of the neck, hyperextending the elbow from here, striking into the bicep here. Okay, these are your applications of the sunkete. From here, here, and then slapping the groin. From here, slapping the kidney. These are the attacks with the slash and the thrust principle of sunkete. The echikete gets into other throws and or other close quarter strikes. So from here, we can go into the locking. From here, we can go into the strike to the chin and strike across the neck. From here, we can go into the lock and control, catching the arm and catching the knee, and simply following through and dumping and throwing your opponent on the ground. The echikete is the close quarter circling thrust, and then you can switch into the sunkete with the combination. Again, the echikete is utilizing the circular thrusting principle of the knife. So right away into the neck strike, into the chin strike. Once you've got that sensitivity here, then you can go into two controls and direct throws across the neck. These are quick. We're going to demonstrate one on the counter fence utilizing the Seguidas method, and then one on the bridging with the jab. What we're going to end up with is the ability to do a direct throw from the front and from the rear of the position of the neck. So again, we're going to do the first one on the counter fence side. So right away from here, there's my strike directly to the neck here, and I do my number 3 thrust direct, and then I'm going to follow up all the way down utilizing my throwing technique, dropping the knee. So again, the counter fence technique here, boom, boom, right away, and we're down here. See? And then you can follow up with locking and striking and destroying the head with your close quarter stomping or the sikai. Again, because you want to get back up and engage the multiple opponents. The second one is going to be on the offense. So right away, I'm going to jab this into here, and then I'm going to go directly into the chin control. So immediately I come in here, I get that trap here, and strike across and get the chin, and turn that in. As I open the chin and the neck, I'm again going to do the same mechanics here, doing the takedown, the close quarter takedown. So again, off of the guard here, see, I'm going to jab into that, and I'm going to come in, trap that here. And immediately here, get the chin, and then go down. Dropping the knee here, following up here, and getting your close quarter stomp so that you can engage your multiple opponents. Two methods for controlling the neck and doing your direct takedown. This is the real application of Dumog. Immediately bridging, destruction from long range, bridging in the close quarter, getting into the tapping and trapping, executing your direct strikes, and then throwing your opponent with either the leverage of the forward triangle and or the complete control of the neck with your fluid takedowns on the principle of the number 3 thrust. Controlling the chin, striking the nape of the neck, striking the carotid, and doing a fluid thrust, take down here, close quarter here, or take down, close quarter, into the direct throw. The kicking system in Pikiti Tertia has 6 kicks, 3 based upon the knife and then 3 close quarter. The first 3, again, based upon the knife thrust. You got the front kick, you got your inside kick, and you've got your round kick, resembling the 1, 2, and 3 thrust on the sok. Again, the front kick, we're talking a kick directly to the knee, okay? Because we want to disable, we want to destroy the base of our opponent. We're not using this to bridge. These are simply fast attacks or preemptive attacks. You're able to kick the knee immediately. You come up right into contact distance and you kick the knee. Okay. The second one is the inside kick. Really not utilized a lot, okay, because of it's fairly weak with the inside thrust of the foot. And then the round kick. The round kick comes off of usually the forward triangle. So once we bridge with some type of hand strike, then you can follow up directly with the round kick. Why? Because look at the line. I can get out and I can follow up with my round kick. I can get out on the 90 and follow up with the round kick. I can use my left 45 and I follow up close quarter with the round kick. Okay. The second set of 3 are already close quarter. When you bridge, you got the inside sipa, which is the inside stomping kick. You've got the regular side kick, the outside stomping kick, which is usually a follow-through to the sipa. And then from here, you got the sikad. So you throw the inside here and then stomp down to the top of the foot. Or you've got the low line side kick, and again, following through with the sikad, which is the stomp on top of the foot. You've got 3 thrusting kicks, and then 3 close quarter kicks, the inside stomp, the outside, and then the stomp with the sikad. All right, let's talk about tactics with the kicking, okay? We're not talking about a ring art. We're talking about a contact distance attack, low line kicking. So right away from here, thrusting to the knee and then bridging with your empty hand attacks, your panga move. You're getting into contact distance here and you're getting that thrust kick directly. Once you come into the thrust kick, you're going to use your momentum to get offline. You don't want to do a kick like that and obviously stay in line and get hit by some type of reactionary attack. Okay, so again, close quarter, direct kicks with a kick, and then you're moving, using your momentum to get offline. Immediately, let's look at that again. Right when I thrust that, you see how I get offline? I'm not going to stay on line and again be in range for those reactionary type of attacks. The inside thrust kick is not really used that a lot because it doesn't have a lot of power. Okay? The round kick, however, though, you can use a round kick to the knee as well. Why? Because you can get out safely and still get that toe kick to the knee. The round kick also comes after your bridges and is what's used most effectively and most commonly. So right away, if I use that, my knife jab here, then I can come into the round kick right off of that. If you evade there, if you evade my eye jab here, you get out here, see, I can follow up with my round kick as I check the guard, okay? Same thing here. I come into my knife jab here, you come in here, I'm going to use my slaps to destroy the guard, step back, just recover, and then there's the round kick right there. Why? Because I'm utilizing the triangle system. So here's your drills for the round kicks. I step back out and I follow up with the round kick. I get out on my 90 here, follow up the round kick. Same thing here. I bridge on my left 45 and I follow up with the round kick. When are these used? When people range out, when your opponent ranges out. So if I come up to the knife jab and you range out right from here, there's my range for the round kick. And I'm just going to follow through with other close quarter attacks. Your opponent ranges out, follow up with that forward 45, forward triangle, round kick, directly to the knee. Again, you could use the instep, you can use the toe, and or you can use the shin. Directly to the knee and or the outside of the thigh. Once you follow through here, again, follow through close quarter with your close quarter attacks, using the elbow. The most common kick is the round kick. Again, your individual training drill, range, and then follow up with the round kick. Get your footwork, your explosive footwork on the 90, and follow up with the round kick. And then on the left 45, right 45, follow up with the round kick. The thrusting kicks in close quarter are used once you've already bridged the gap. You've already got into tapping and or trapping range. So if I already bridged the gap here, you put your tap up here, I've already got my inside SIPA kick right here. Okay? Same thing, if I'm able to bridge here, boom, I may get my side kick to that D from here and then come out with another round kick. All dependent upon the situation. The best drill for this, however, is the Sagung Labo, because coming here with the number 1 slap, as soon as you step out, you're immediately into the SIPA kick. So let's turn around and show this here. See, number 1 slap here, I evade here, there's my SIPA kick here from here, and then I can execute my slap and running attack. So we start the drill here, we start to move with the empty hand slap and execute the hack here, come into the side step position, the control position with the elbow control and the wrist control, and you've got the inside SIPA to the knee. Right from here, you execute the Sikad. Thrust that and then stomp right onto the top of the foot. From here, you can follow through with the side kick, the outside stomping kick. You can double up here and then follow up with that kick, the powerful thrusting kick with the side kick or the outside thrusting kick here, and again, follow through. All based upon that outside position. On the inside position here, if we come to the inside position here, we're looking for that hook thrusting kick in close quarter, a variation of the center line kick. So on the outside kick, we're going to be utilizing the SIPA and the outside thrusting kick or the side kick in close quarter to either the lead leg or the far leg, followed up with the stomp from here. Once I get the foot trap, then I can follow up with my finishing attacks. If you're on the inside position here, right from here, then we're talking about the hook kick, okay? Center line kick coming up here, and again, stomping, then getting the foot trap, and then executing your follow-up attacks in close quarter. The best drill to execute both of those is the Sagung Labo. Why? Because if I throw my bridge here, and I get my trapping attack here, follow up with the drill here, that's right, boom, 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 and then we're there, see? And then I'm able to follow up with my close quarter attacks. You can start here, okay, you can start with your Sagung Labo, or you can start with a bridge here, see? And I get this in here right away here, okay? Either way, okay? You don't want to just always set it up on like a false drill in the Sagung Labo. Right from here, I throw my bridge, see, and then I can get my inside attack here and my follow-up bridging attack.